We're here at NAMM 2017 at the PreSonus booth for Gearslutz.com with the always informative and enchanting Wesley Smith. And she is going to tell us all about the StudioLive 32, which is the forerunner, not the forerunner, the follow-up, really. Its forerunner is the StudioLive AI series, but this does much, much more.
That's right. So this is the Series 3. We're calling it our Series 3. It's our third generation of StudioLive mixers. And we've built upon everything we've learned the last 10 years making digital mixers. And what we wanted to do is redesign the effects engine, which we did, redesign the workflow, add touch-sensitive motorized faders. But we wanted to keep the same one-to-one surface-driven workflow that makes a StudioLive a StudioLive. So you have the option to spill out your inputs across all 32 channels. And when you do that, you have a straight one-to-one input to fader, just the way a lot of people like to work. But if you want to...
Very analog style.
Very analog style, exactly. But if you want to be able to work it as a sidecar to still have your inputs here, you can come over here to the last bank of 8 faders. And I have the option to flip these to go through my aux inputs. It could be my DCA group masters or my effects masters, and I can bank through those. But at the same time, I still have all my inputs on the other 24 faders, and I can still bank through all of my inputs here instead of press of a button. I can create a custom user layer, which I love. So I can have a DCA group master, I can have a subgroup master, the channels that I need right at once, and it's all straight up on the input on the user layer. You have 16 mixes. They're all flex mixes, so they can either be an aux mix, a matrix mix, or a subgroup. The matrix mix can be a mix of all the mixes, a mix of all the mixes plus all the inputs. So it gives you a lot of flexibility, especially if you're doing like a front fill. So that's really great there. You have 8 user buttons. By default, these are your mute groups, but they could also be set to be quick scenes and a number of other tap tempo, a number of other features that if you want to bubble up to the surface. This is our new fat channel. And this is our what I like to call our dynamic fat channel.
Sort of in its own area as opposed to across the faders.
The whole thing, exactly. So I can get access to my inputs. The Series 3 has our digitally recallable X-Max mic preamps that we put on the RM series. So from the inputs layer, I have access to all my thresholds, my pan, my high-pass filter, my gain. We've also added an input delay, which is really nice. Lets you delay mics to the back line if you need to.
Would you also use that for a delay compensation situation with a DAW where you maybe did not have another means to do
Exactly
Yeah.
so. Or if you want to, some people like to delay the top and bottom of the snare so you get less phasing and you get a crisper attack. There's a lot of uses for an input delay.
It's a lot of applications for that, for sure.
A friend of ours at PreSonus is a huge input delay fan, so he's been talking it up for years. We've kept the same noise gate that we have on all of our StudioLives. The compressor actually has 3 different compressors. We have our standard compressor, which is what we've always used in a StudioLive mixer. But you can change it to a tube model or an FET model. And then on the EQ, you also have your standard StudioLive EQ that we're known for. But we've also added a passive design as well as a vintage design. The effects engine has been rebuilt from the ground up, and we have some really cool new effects. They're all models of famous effects units that we've kind of designed in-house. So that was kind of something that people had mentioned a few times, that they didn't like the reverbs and delays on the other old StudioLives, or that they could be improved upon. So we rebuilt it from the ground up.
Sorry if I'm making you repeat yourself, but the interface protocol is USB 3?
It's USB 2.0. I was just about to get to that, actually.
Oh, okay. No,
That's all right. Great. So it's a USB 2.0 bidirectional interface, just like we've always had. Allows you to record 38. It's a 38 by 34. And we also have built into the mixer is a Bluetooth. We have Bluetooth input. We also have an SD recorder. So the SD recorder has a capture on board. So you pop in an SD SD card. You can record all 32 channels plus the mains. You can even do a virtual sound check. And when you enable this, your SD card return comes right back to all your inputs. And you can do a virtual sound check now without a computer.
Awesome.
We also have a Bluetooth input. And this is kind of a cool little Easter egg feature, but the Bluetooth input can actually be assigned as the TalkBack input. So if you're in a rehearsal situation where you want everybody to listen to the same song, you can Bluetooth your smartphone in and patch it out to all the mix outputs on the TalkBack, so people can listen along and play along. So it's a cool little feature.
It's also cool if someone brings their rough mix or their music to the studio.
Absolutely.
And they just want to hook in their phone and not
Yep.
look for a...
So you can either have it come back to the tape input or the TalkBack input, which is it's pretty neat.
Cool. How much is it?
It's $29.99. It's also got a 16-channel little brother, which it just like the RM series, the 16-channel mixer is a 32-channel mixer under the hood with all the same features, and that will be available a little bit later at $19.99.
Okay. Wesley, thanks so much for the look at the StudioLive 32.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And we will be talking to you again in the very near future, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.